Oh, hey, I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to this video where I'm going to explain how to make scatter plots and calculate the Pearson correlation coefficient. So I'm just going to do one example from the lab this week or lab activity this week. And just as a reminder, so the Pearson correlation coefficient is a number that tells you how strongly related two variables are. And it runs between -1 for the absolute strongest negative relationship between two variables to 1, the absolute strongest positive relationship between two variables. Okay, so you're looking probably at the prompt right now, as I am at this moment. I remember writing this at some point. Okay, so anyway, here's all these words, why this is important. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Oh, look at that. Here's some examples. It's beautiful. Um, and how is this all going to work? So what you're going to end up doing, by the way, you're going to click on this link. So you're going to have your EPA data, nitrates and phosphates, number of hypoxic ecosystems. You're going to click on this link, and it's going to take you to this spreadsheet. So this spreadsheet here, so as an example, we're looking at, this is the nitrates tab. So this is just where they have nitrates data. And for this example, we're going to look at the average, the total nitrate yield in kilograms per year per square kilometer. And we have the percent of hypoxic ecosystems. This is, by the way, for the state level. So this is just Alabama, Alaska, and so on. And what we're going to do first, sort of to visualize the relationship between these two variables, is we're going to make a scatter plot. So to do that, we just click here on the top. So you want to click on just B, and it'll highlight the entire column. And then what you want to do is to highlight both, you just hit Shift and then the right arrow. Look at that. Magnificent. All right. Now what we're going to want to do is we want to click Insert, and we're going to go to Chart. All right. Now, in this case, mine's automatically set up to do scatter plots, but yours may not default to that. So just to make sure, if you look here, click on chart type. So if yours ends up defaulting to some other chart type, you click on chart type, and then you can scroll down, and there's all sorts of different types here. And you want to go to scatter, and you're going to select this one. So if it doesn't default to this, make sure you scroll down and click on that. All right. So now we can look at this and go like, well, all right, that looks like science. And you're going to, by the way, use these plots to visually inspect some of the relationships in the data and answer some of the questions we're looking at in this lab activity. Now, if we want to actually calculate how strongly related, let's say, the percent of hypoxic ecosystems, which is essentially a way of looking at the amount of dead zones in a state, and the average total nitrate yield, what we can do is then calculate what is known as the Pearson correlation coefficient. So let's just move this plot a little out of the way so it's easier to visualize. And what we want to do is then calculate it. And I've highlighted these cells in orange, easier to check out. And what you want to do is you want to calculate by doing equals, and then there's a Pearson formula. Now I can just rattle this off, or this is really awesome being lazy. We can just scroll down here a bit, and I bet that I actually included the formula for, oh, look at that. I'm amazing. All right. So we have the formula here. So Command C, Command V. Oh, by the way, if you're using a Windows machine, it's Control. All right. And I just copied and pasted. And by the way, when I copy and paste the formula, for those of you who haven't used Excel much yet, when you do equals and then there's a lot of functions that are built in, it'll automatically calculate this. Now, just to give you an idea of what this actually means in human language, is it says calculate the Pearson correlation coefficient between all the values from B2 to B51, which is, by the way, this column, the average total nitrate yield, and C2 to C51, which is the percent of hypoxic ecosystems in the state. And by calculating this, it'll give you a number, and this number will tell you the Pearson correlation coefficient, which tells you how strongly related these two variables are. If you want to be really pedantic about this, this is a way of saying that 27% of the variation in hypoxic ecosystems can be explained by the variation in the total nitrate yield here, at least when we're looking at state level, which is really broad. But anyway, I think that should cover just sort of how you need to create graphs, how to calculate Pearson correlation coefficients, and should be well on your way to figuring out how to answer the questions lower down in this prompt. All right.